The suitcase was already full when he noticed. She didn't slam doors. She didn't cry. She didn't shout. She folded. One shirt at a time. One memory at a time. One goodbye at a time. The late afternoon sun poured through the kitchen window of the ranch house, turning dust in the air into floating gold. Outside, the wind dragged slowly across the plains, bending the tall grass in quiet waves. Horses shifted in the distance, hooves thudding softly against dry earth. Everything looked the same as it had yesterday, but nothing was the same. She moved through the bedroom like a ghost, careful not to let the wooden floorboards creak. Her hands trembled only once, when she reached the nightstand and picked up the framed photo of the two of them at the county fair. He had one arm around her shoulders. She was laughing. He was looking at her like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. She placed the photo face down in the drawer. No note, no speech, no scene, just silence. The cowboy was in the barn when the feeling hit him. Not a sound, not a shout, a feeling. The kind a man learns after years of listening to animals, wind, and weather. The kind that whispers before a storm. Something was wrong. He stepped out from under the wooden beam, wiping sweat and dust from his forehead with the back of his arm. The sky was clear, but his chest felt heavy. The horses were restless, shifting their weight. Even the old sheepdog wouldn't meet his eyes. He started toward the house. Inside, she zipped the suitcase. The sound cut through the air like a blade. She paused. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure the walls could hear it. This was it. She lifted the suitcase from the bed. It felt heavier than it should. Maybe because it wasn't just clothes inside. Maybe because it carried every moment she had replayed in her mind over the last 6 months. The arguments, the distance, the nights he came home late and said nothing, the mornings he left before sunrise. She wasn't angry anymore. That was the problem. She was tired. She walked toward the front door. The knob turned before she touched it. The door swung open, and he was there. Boots dusty, hat low, eyes searching. For a long second, neither of them spoke. The wind pushed past him into the house, rustling the papers on the kitchen table. He looked down. The suitcase. Then back at her. You going somewhere? He asked, voice low. She swallowed. Yes. One word. Heavy as stone. He stepped inside slowly, closing the door behind him. Without saying anything, she met his gaze for the first time in weeks. Really met it. And for a moment, she saw it. The confusion, the hurt, the pride that wouldn't let him show too much. I've been saying things for months, she replied softly. You just weren't listening. The words hung between them like smoke. He removed his hat and ran a hand through his hair. The silence stretched. Outside, a screen door somewhere down the road slammed shut in the wind. I've been working, he said. I know. For us. I know. Then why? Because I can't compete with a ranch, she interrupted. I can't compete with fences and cattle and sunrise chores. I can't compete with a man who thinks loving someone means providing for them, but never talking to them. That hit. Harder than she intended. His jaw tightened. Not in anger. In realization. She took a breath, steady but fragile. I didn't need more hours, she continued. I needed you. He looked at the floorboards. He had built this house with his own hands. Hammered every nail. Fixed every hinge. He thought that was love, making something solid. Something that wouldn't break. But somewhere along the way, he forgot that people aren't fences. They need tending too. She shifted the suitcase in her grip. I'm not leaving because I don't love you, she whispered. I'm leaving because I don't know if you love me in a way I can survive. He looked up then. Really looked. And something inside him cracked open. You think I don't love you? He asked quietly. She didn't answer. Because she didn't know. He stepped closer, but she didn't move back. That was something. I wake up before the sun, he said, voice rough. I work till my hands split open. I worry about every bill, every broken fence, every dry season. And I do it because I thought that's what a good man does. It is, she said gently. But a good partner talks. A good partner sits down at night and says, how was your day? A good partner doesn't shut down every time something hurts. He swallowed. She had tried. God, she had tried. He remembered the nights she sat beside him at the kitchen table, waiting. The times she reached for his hand, and he pulled away, not because he didn't want her, but because he didn't know how to explain the pressure sitting on his chest like a 1,000-pound steer. He had learned to carry burdens alone. That was how his father did it. That was how men in his family survived. But no one ever taught him how to share the weight. I don't know how, he admitted. The words were barely audible. She froze. What? I don't know how to talk about it, he said, louder this time. I don't know how to say I'm scared the ranch won't make it. I don't know how to tell you I lie awake at night thinking I'm failing you. I don't know how to be softer. Her eyes filled. He continued, the dam finally breaking. When my father died, I told myself I'd never let anything fall apart. Not the land. Not the house. Not us. So I worked harder. And the harder I worked, the less I talked. And the less I talked, the more you slipped away. Silence again. But this silence was different. It wasn't cold. It was raw. You should have let me in, she said through tears. I'm not something you protect by pushing away. I'm someone who wants to stand beside you. He stepped closer now, close enough that he could see the tiny scar near her eyebrow from when she fell off a horse years ago, close enough to see that she wasn't angry. She was hurt. I was afraid, he said. Of what? That if you saw how unsure I am, you'd leave. She let out a broken laugh. I'm leaving because you never showed me. The truth of it hit them both. He looked at the suitcase again, then at the door, then back at her. His voice changed. Not loud, not demanding, just certain. You're not leaving alone. She blinked. What does that mean? It means if you're walking out that door because I failed to show up for you, then I'm walking too. Her grip tightened on the handle. You can't just abandon the ranch. I won't, he said. But I'm not letting you carry this by yourself. If you need space, I'll drive you. If you need time, I'll give it. If you need counseling, I'll sit in that room and learn how to speak like a grown man instead of a stubborn cowboy. A tear slid down her cheek. He reached up, hesitated, then gently wiped it away. I don't want to lose you because I was too proud to admit I don't know everything, he said. The wind outside howled, rattling the window panes. Inside, something shifted. She searched his face for signs of empty promises. She found fear. She found regret. But she also found effort. Real effort. I don't need you to be perfect, she whispered. I just need you to be present. He nodded. I can try. She studied him for a long moment. Trying meant vulnerability. Trying meant uncomfortable conversations. Trying meant both of them unlearning old habits. It wouldn't be easy. Love never is. Slowly, she set the suitcase down. Not thrown. Not kicked. Placed. Between them. He looked at it. Then at her. Is that a maybe? He asked carefully. It's a pause, she replied. Not an ending. Relief washed over his face like rain after drought. He let out a breath he'd been holding for months. Come sit with me, he said softly. They moved to the kitchen table. No phones. No distractions. Just two people who almost lost everything because they forgot that silence can be louder than shouting. They talked until the sun dipped below the horizon. They talked about money. About fear. About the pressure he felt to be strong all the time. About how alone she felt sleeping beside someone who wouldn't open up. They didn't fix everything in one night. But they started. And sometimes, starting is the bravest thing you can do. Outside, the horses settled. The wind quieted. Inside, two stubborn hearts began learning a new language. The suitcase stayed by the door for 3 days. Not packed away. Not used. A reminder. On the 4th morning, he woke before sunrise like always. But instead of heading straight to the barn, he rolled toward her. Morning, he murmured. She blinked awake, surprised. Morning. He hesitated, then asked, what do you need today? It wasn't perfect. It wasn't poetic. But it was present. She smiled, small, real. And that was enough. If you've ever felt unheard. If you've ever packed your bags in silence hoping someone would finally notice. If you've ever been the one too afraid to speak because you thought strength meant silence. This story is for you. Love isn't about who works the hardest. It's not about who sacrifices the most. It's about who shows up, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes the strongest words a person can say are, I don't know how, but I want to learn. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is put the suitcase down and give each other one more chance. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss stories that remind us what really matters. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that communication can save what pride tries to destroy. Because out on the plains, under wide open skies, one stubborn cowboy learned that love isn't about holding the door shut. It's about standing in it and saying, you're not leaving alone.